Hello and welcome back to Magical Task Force. Turmentic here, and today I got a bunch of different information I want to go over with you. I want to go over what they've released so far for the Wizards Unite Fest. Got a lot of really cool information, plus a map now, which is awesome. Also want to go over a timeline that James Wright over at Wizards News has actually put together. Awesome timeline, definitely want to use it if you're trying to meet up with any of the WooTubers or the pictures on there, everything like that. So I'll leave a link for that for you as well. But I really want to talk about the global rewards. We got information yesterday on exactly what those global rewards would be for the first ever Woo Fest, and I gotta tell you, there's been a lot of confusion. So stick around, I'll go over all the details right now. So first thing I'm going to be going over is actually the timeline. I'll leave a link in the description of James Wright's page and this timeline. It will be a live document, so it can change. But first on the menu, a 4 p.m. general WooTuber meetup inside of the park. Then you WooTubers might actually go out to dinner after that. There is a Harry Potter Wizards Unite Facebook page that has organized a pub crawl actually downtown Indianapolis. Sounds like a lot of fun, and we will end up at a bar at 8 p.m. for some Harry Potter trivia. I can't wait actually for that. I test my knowledge of Harry Potter. On to Saturday, there is an early morning doxy hunt starting around 6:15, going until roughly about 8:15. And then everyone who has early access at 9 a.m. is actually going to be able to get into the park. 11 a.m. for those with later access. At 5:30 p.m., the Simon Mall is giving a gift card away at the Simon Center in Indianapolis. Not that far of a walk actually to it. It's really cool though because Pokefodder will actually be giving out that gift card. Simon contacted him. I'm really excited to actually meet Pokefodder. And then back over at the park, 7:15 is when we have the group photo for day one. Now, there are tons of different quests going on that day. That's going to be a different video, though. I'm going to go over that later. Now, going off into Sunday, same thing. Doxy hunt starting around 6:12, 6:15, going till 8:15. Early access into the park at 9 a.m. General access at 11 a.m. after that. There'll be a 6 p.m. general WooTuber meetup and possible group battles happening at the Stone Pillar again. I honestly don't know if I'll be there on Sunday because it depends on the hurricane, things like that. And then 7:15 is the group 2 photo, or I should say the day 2 photo. Now this is the map that James has actually created. It shows all of the important areas, shows you actually the blue is the main park where the event will be taking place. The orange is the Simon Center. That is all inside of that document. I will leave in a link in the description. Now this right here is the main map of what's going on. It's been broken up into 4 different family registries, I should say. We have Hogwarts School, we have Dark Arts, Magical Games and Sports, and Care of Magical Creatures. Really excited about this. Now, a lot of people have been asking, where are the entrances into the park? Well, their first entrance, the north entrance, is actually going to be right here in Magical Games and Sports. I also want to point out real quick, I really love the small detail. Like one of my old bosses told me, the devil's in the detail. And if you notice WC, that's the bathrooms. And if you're familiar with terminology outside of the United States, it's a wash closet. And it's brilliant that they put that on the map instead of actually just saying bathrooms. Now, also up there is where the greenhouse lounge will be as well, and some merch shop. Definitely want to go check it out. Now on down to the bottom, this is the south entrance. All right, this is also where Dark Arts will be spawning. I do want to point out, I thought it was really funny that Family Services is directly in the center of the Dark Arts area, but we're not going to go into that as well. Information is there. There's another lounge as well in case you need to hang out, charge your phone, take a little bit of a breather. Now, the main area right there is the 9 3/4. And this is probably where a lot of the main stuff is actually going to be happening. If you notice in the center, that's where that threat clock is. My favorite thing. I cannot wait to see this threat clock. And you're going to need to actually pay attention to it throughout the day because it will change and it might depend what is spawning in that time. There's another lounge as well, and also the Niantic booth. Now, the last one is Magical Care of Creatures, and it's kind of interesting because it's a little bit smaller. It's actually a lot smaller than all the other ones, but I've been told that on the other side of the bridge, there is a zoo. So it's a free zoo too. So it's kind of cool that they put that right next to the zoo with Magical Care of Creatures. Now, this is a zoomed in photo right here of the threat clock. Like I said, I'm so stoked for this threat clock. I don't know why, but I'm just really excited to see it and to actually see how it correlates to the threats that are going on during the actual event. So the first thing I want to explain is that everyone that's going to WooFest, everyone that's actually able to go to Indianapolis and see the dragons, we are trying to return 150,000 dragons. Now, if we hit that 150,000 dragon mark, it will unlock Day of the Dragons September 7th. So if you go into game, you can actually find the 2 new registry pages is under oddities. There's one for 2 of the dragons and 2 dragon eggs. And then if you go over, there is another one for 2 more dragons and 2 other eggs. These are the 4 dragons we'll be able to get at WooFest, and the dragon eggs out of the portmanteaus. And if you go really quickly, you can see some paintings. But on to the dragons always. Now, these are the 4 dragons. These are what they look like. Those are the regions right above their pictures underneath their names. So what is Day of the Dragons, you ask? Well, Day of the Dragons is a 3-hour spawn event similar to like a community day where one particular dragon out of the 4 that are available will spawn in your area. They have finally broken up the regions. There are 4 regions that are actually current right now in the game. I feel they'll add more, especially if they add more dragons and other things like that. But for now, there are 4 regions. That means there are 4 dragons, okay? You'll be able to naturally catch your area, your region's dragon, no problem, pretty much all the time. Day of the Dragon on September 7th, though, gives you the opportunity to get one other type of dragon to spawn in your region. This right here is how the game actually is broken up into the different regions. Like I was saying before, I do expect them to break it up even further, North and South America, probably Europe and Africa, but this is where we're at right now. This right here shows you the 150,000 dragons that we need to return as people going to WooFest in order to unlock Day of the Dragons September 7th. It's gonna be a tall order, but I think we can do it. The next thing I want to explain is a lot of people are like, well, what about that infographic that actually shows all of the portmanteaus that are new, the 4 different dragon type portmanteaus? What does those rewards mean? Well, each of the portmanteaus, they're introducing 4 new ones. It's 4 different portmanteaus for the 4 different eggs. Now, they're really cool because those portmanteaus actually, you can tell what they are on the map. You'll be able to see if like, oh, that one's the Chinese fireball, or that's the Peruvian dragon, because of the different types. And I'll go over that in just a minute on how to tell what portmanteau is actually what. But here's the thing. Globally, we need to return, or open, I should say, 1 million of each portmanteau. That means we need to open up 1 million red, 1 million opal, 1 million blue, and 1 million green. Now, every single time we hit one of those milestones, let's say we open up 1 million red port keys, we globally receive that reward from September 7th until September 9th. That's been the big confusion, I feel, is that each one of those different portmanteau request rewards, if you will, those goals, every single one of those goals gives us a different reward. It's 2 times dark detector, it's half the distance for a portmanteau, it's 25% experience bonus on experience, I should say, and the last one is potion brewing time. I can't believe I forgot that one. But those rewards don't have anything to do with Day of the Dragons. Those rewards are specifically for September 2nd through September 9th if we hit that 1 million mark per portmanteau. So you're asking yourself, well, what do you mean by Day of the Dragons then? How does that work where 1 extra dragon will actually spawn in? Well, here's the thing, and this is why I love this game, is because it takes a lot of thought in order to actually be able to process the information that it gives us. Each region, depending on what color portmanteau they return the most, will receive that dragon. So that means that if us in the Americas, for example, we return more red portmanteaus than anything else, we will receive the Chinese dragon. That's been the big thing that people haven't really understand. Those rewards for opening the portmanteaus don't carry over to the Day of the Dragons. Those rewards are for a global reward week. The Day of the Dragons spawns whatever portmanteau that region opens up the most for that 3-hour event. It'll be pretty easy to figure out exactly what dragon you're trying to go for the egg because of all the portmanteaus actually being specific colors. You have a blue one for the Peruvian viper tooth, will be native to the Americas. The Antipodean opali, which will be native to Australia, New Zealand, our Pacific friends over there. Then you have the common Welsh dragon, which will be available in England, Europe, all of that area, including Africa. And then you have the Chinese fireball, which is going to pretty much be most of Asia. So those are the 4 different types that you're going to go for. So here's the thing. Not everyone's going to be able to go to WooFest, but you might really want to actually prestige that page. Well, this is what you're going to need to do. Whatever region you're in, you're going to need to find the correlating dragon that is with your region on the map. Now, I know for a fact that the Peruvian viper tooth is with the common Welsh dragon, and then the Antipodean opali is with the Chinese fireball. So what you're going to need to do is, in the Americas, for example, you're going to need to try to open as many green port keys as you can in order for us to be able to get that reward. Opposite for Europe and Africa. And then you're going to have to do the same thing for the Chinese fireball and the one for our friends down in Australia, New Zealand area. Now what I did was I actually created a Facebook group. It is called Wizards Unite the Americas. I know it's a little late. We didn't really find out that much information about what was going on globally, but I'm hoping to actually use that Facebook page as a way of actually spreading the news of trying to get everybody on board. I definitely recommend somebody from each of the other regions creating a similar type of Facebook group, trying to get as many people as you can, because with something like this, we're going to need to work together as a region. So just to do a brief recap, globally as a team, we need to open 1 million of each different type of port key. So that means we need to open up 1 million of each, the red, the blue, the green, and the opal. Now everyone at WooFest, we need to actually return 150,000 dragons in order to unlock Day of the Dragons for September 7th. Now, globally as a team, if we can actually hit 4 of those milestones in order to unlock those rewards will be available from September 2nd until September 9th. And lastly, if we want to be able to prestige these pages for everybody that is outside of WooFest, not able to go, you need to open up the corresponding port key that goes with your local dragon during the event. That means if you're in the Americas, you need to open up more green ones than you would any other one, just so we can actually potentially try to prestige that page during Day of the Dragons, September 7th. So I hope this clears up some of the confusion some people had about exactly Day of the Dragons, the rewards for the Dragon Week, things of that nature right there. My name is Turmentic though. Subscribe to me on Twitter at Turmentic. It's where I post a lot of information when I don't have time to make a video. You definitely want to stick around. I'll be at WooFest all weekend, meeting awesome people, awesome WooTubers, and catching those dragons. But yes, as always, give the video a like if you found it helpful. Please subscribe to the channel. Every sub that I actually get helps me. You have no idea. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day.